There is 3 episodes remaining of Season 1. There is 3 episodes remaining for Season 1 of Tracker, and the good news is this episode actually dived in to Colter's past. We learned more about his history, his family, but the bad news is that the episode outside of that kinda sucked. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Tracker, Season 1, Episode 11. This one is called Beyond the Campus Walls, and we finally got introduced to Colter's family. We've seen his sister, Dory, who came into this episode making her debut, which is pretty cool to see her played by Melissa Roxburgh. So we know that she's going to be the sister of Colter. Next episode, I believe we're going to get introduced to his brother, who I believe is called Robert. He's played by Jensen Ackles. So there could be some good stuff, obviously, coming up in the final couple of episodes. But the story, the investigation, the case that Colter took up in this episode really wasn't any good. It was boring, it was lackluster, it lacked any good characters. And I get it, maybe they were focusing more on the introduction of his sister, but why not just dedicate an episode to that then? Why not just do the whole thing with Colter meeting his sister, learning more about his family? I feel like they rushed a case in just to try and include one case in the episode, and for me, it didn't really work. So this grad student goes missing after a house party, and Colter has to find out, obviously, why he's missing. He finds explicit photos and messages, and he uncovers a dangerous conspiracy on campus. So, basically, Tyler, or Blake Baker has went missing. I believe the kid's called Blake. So, Blake goes missing. We don't know why. We see a little intro at the beginning where he touches some girl with blonde hair. I think he got confused over who it was. Some guy punched him in the face and threw him in the swimming pool, and after that, he went missing. So Colter turns up at his university, but first of all, we've seen Colter. Well, he turns up at the university, but it turns out that Colter's sister, Dory, works at the university, so he spends some time talking to her. They agree to meet, they agree to, communicate, catch up, because she hasn't seen him in a year. Then he goes and investigates the whole case. So it turns out that Blake works here at the university. Obviously, he's a student. He's went missing. Colter investigates why he's went missing. He speaks to one of the students, Jada, who says that Blake wouldn't just go missing like that. He's a good kid. He's not really a party animal, so in him sending nudes, him being involved with some woman doesn't really make sense, because Colter finds a lot of images on Blake's phone, and it looks like he's got some sort of blonde mistress. So Colter tracks down this mistress. It turns out this mistress is indeed playing. She's catfishing Blake in order to try and get information from Blake. So yeah, her husband and her set this thing up where someone came and paid them to essentially eliminate Blake. So Colter does more investigating. He tracks down her husband after finding blood. He finds blood in their place of work, so he looks at the security cameras and he sees that Blake turned up here to try and get with, I guess, what's her name? Irene. I think her name was Irene, so yeah, she's the one catfishing. Blake tries to get with her, thinking that they have something special. Her husband smacks him on the desk, so he grabs his head, smacks him on the desk, and then he's busted open and he takes him away. So we don't know what he's done with him. He doesn't go to the hospital though, so it turns out that he's taken him away. Colter has to try and find him. Colter then takes Irene back to his little camper van where his sister turns up. His sister thinks that Colter's on some sort of date, but Colter has to explain this is work purposes only. So they kind of make things up. Colter says he will call her later. Then Colter manages to track down Blake, and it turns out that Blake's university teacher has hired Irene and her husband, Chuck, because he has information that could harm his teacher, Professor Lyle Hewitt. So Blake found out that Lyle Hewitt was lying about potential statistics and stuff like that, so he's got information on that, and Professor Hewitt wants to eliminate him. He wants to get rid of him, and it's a little bit far-fetched. It doesn't really make much sense to me. So we see that the professor and Chuck have Blake at gunpoint. For some reason, the professor turns around and he shoots Chuck, killing him. I guess maybe he wants to get rid of any witnesses. But then we see Colter come in, and Colter shoots the professor in the hand, takes him out of the game. He rescues Blake, and it turns out that the professor then gets like 15, I think 25 years rammed up his ass. So yeah, he's done. Blake's friend, who was in the course, also got involved with it. But look, guys, the story wasn't very interesting, so I mean, I'm not too concerned about this. Essentially, Blake gets returned home. He's fine. His mother gives Colter the reward money, which always happens. You know, nothing new here. Colter gets his money. He then, the most interesting part of the episode, he then goes to dinner with his sister. And his sister is kind of giving Colter and their mother a hard time. She says that not everything that happened was her father's fault. She says that her father was, you know, a good father, and that he didn't just drag their mother along with this. Their mother was a grown-ass woman, and that she knew what she was getting involved with. So it seems like Colter's mother hasn't exactly been truthful to Colter. Colter hasn't spoken to his brother, I believe, since then. His sister Dory wants the two of them to meet up, but Colter's not having it. And she believes that Colter's mum, their mum, is lying to them. So we don't exactly know what happened. Is she talking about the death of their father? Is that what she's lying about? Is Colter's mother trying to wrap him around her finger? She also spoke about the fact that she got up and left, and she managed to escape and go live with the grandparents. And we get teased that Colter might reach out to his brother, but he might not. The sister wants them both to get together, and yeah, we find out more about their father, that their father was working with they find out information about the father that the mother must have knew, and I mean, that's pretty, it is messy, but basically Colter, this episode, is left kind of wondering, has his mum been truthful to him? What actually happened to his dad? And I guess that we will hopefully find out as these episodes progress. But there's only 2 episodes left of season 1, so honestly, at this rate, I'm not kind of sure. But I mean, yeah, for me, this episode, I mean, wasn't really good. I did enjoy the fact that Colter, we got introduced to his sister, and we found out a little bit more backstory about the whole family shit, and his dad and his mother and his brother, but we didn't really find out enough, in my opinion, and the case was really poor. It was just uninteresting, nothing to like about it. Renee wasn't in this episode either, which kind of sucks, because I believe she is the second best character in this show. So yeah, I know, a disappointing episode. I'm going to give it a... Honestly, I thought this one was really poor. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Arguably my least favourite episode, despite the fact we got introduced to Colter's sister. And I mean, I like that. You know what? Actually, I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5, because I like the fact that we learned a little bit more about Colter's history and his family and his past. But the actual episode itself, had Colter's sister not been introduced here, and had we not learned more about the history of the Colter family, or the Shaw family, sorry, then this would have absolutely sucked. But at least we did get, you know, a little bit more backstory, which I've been crying out for a long time now. So yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 10, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Been Fog Entertainment. Hopefully the last 2 episodes go out with a bang, because at the moment, this season is fizzling out. I mean, it's been okay, it's been average, but you never know. A good ending here. If we can push it 2 good episodes, then, you know, maybe we can finish with a successful season. But right now, it's average at best, in my opinion. It's decent, but nothing more than that. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Been Fog Entertainment. Thanks for watching, and peace.